what do you want to do with your life? Now, that's a question that we get asked actually pretty young in our lives. When we're like 6 years old, when we start school, we get asked by the teacher, what do you want to be in the future? Some will say a doctor, some will say a policeman, some will say an astronaut. Now, that's what it used to be like, and now kids, thanks to the rise of technology, say they want to be YouTubers or influencers or stuff like that. And there are some people that think that life itself is linear. A to B. That's it. And you just follow that path like the yellow brick road. But that's not how it goes. And that's not how you choose a career and you just have to stick with it. That's also not the case. So this might be a strange analogy, but this is how I picture it. So you see a tree and you see the base, the trunk, straight. That's how some people view life or their career, as just straight as an arrow. A to B, you do it and you stick with it until you retire. But then what you don't see is the roots and the branches, how they spread out. And that's life. It's not something linear. And so is a career. You don't have to be in one job for the rest of your life, your first job, and stick with it. The two people that I can think of that explain this quite well are my parents. My father, who was an engineer, and then he decided to be a cop, and he stuck with being a cop for 20 years. Now, you can do this. You can find a job that you very much enjoy more than the money. Because there are two kinds of people that do that. There are people that hate the job, but do it for the money. And then there are people that, even though they don't get paid that much, they do it because they love it, like teachers in schools. And just because you have one job doesn't mean you have to stick with it for the rest of your life. The other person on this other side is my mother. She's done so many different jobs over her career. She's been just a nurse, a doctor, a teacher, a primary school teacher. She's done all these things because of all the different qualifications she has. And she might not have liked all of them, but she still did them. Yes, it's not consistent, but when is anything ever consistent? Just because you have a job and have a career that you want to do doesn't mean you have to stick with it for the rest of your life. This is more prevalent when you finish high school. Because when you finish high school, you're no longer under your parents' care. You can still stay with them, but you have to earn your own keep. You have to go out and get a job. Now, a lot of the times, your first job will be something like customer service or going to a trade. Now, these jobs, specifically trades, and then you might get something out of it, or you can go into customer service or something like that, just a part-time job to earn money, or a full-time job if you get to it. And then you can stick with that until you decide to, move higher up in the ranks, just the corporate ladder, or you can go and do something else. The other side are people that go to university and decide to have an idea of what they want to do. Like they have an idea in high school, they're like, okay, I'm going to finish high school, I'm going to go to university, I'm going to get my bachelor's or even my master's, and this is the job I want to go to, which I need those requirements to get. And they'll do that. But just because you choose that doesn't mean, again, you have to go through it all the way. One of my cousins, he originally was going to do doctorate for his university degree. But about halfway through, he decided that he was going to go from doctor to law. And then he switched over, and then he's gone through that. Again, life isn't linear. Your job isn't linear. You don't have to stick with one job until you retire. This isn't the 1960s or 1970s. You can pick a job, and then you can do it for the enjoyment of it or do it for the money, and then you can change over to something else. The whole thing about this is life itself and jobs and careers, they're not linear. They're not straight. They branch off into different paths. And just because you pick one thing doesn't mean you have to stick with it for the rest of your life. You can be whatever you want to be. Be a YouTuber, be an influencer, be a doctor, be an astronaut, be a firefighter, whatever. Pick something that you enjoy doing, because that's the main thing. If you enjoy your work and you can go to work with a smile on your face saying, this is something that I like doing, then that's the perfect fit for you. But you have to ask yourself, what do you want to do with a career and with your life? And once you find that, then that's something you can stick with until you finish. But yeah, might be a bit scattered as my usual, but it's just something that I wanted to talk about. So I hope anybody that watches this took something out of it, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.